Man, ever since I've been on YouTube, really before I came on YouTube, but definitely since I've been on YouTube, which was beginning with April 2017, I've always pointed out, man, that if there's one thing, one of my major pet peeves, man, is people that are combination of inconsistent, contradictory, and hypocritical. I have a major eye and ear for people who are inconsistent, contradictory, and hypocritical. Okay, you got that? I don't like it. And I'm always feel inclined to call people out when they're guilty of being inconsistent, contradictory, and hypocritical. What am I referring to? As you know, a video I keep referencing, I've referenced it a lot over the last month or two. I did a video, I think last year, either in 2019 or early 2020, that was called the top 5 dumbest and or most highly invalid criticisms of my Mode 1 approach. I've had a number of various criticisms of my Mode 1 approach, but there's been at least 5 that have been repeated over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? You got that? There's been 5 that have been repeated over and over and over again. And in this video, I'm going to highlight at least 2 as it relates to this ongoing discussion and debate about tricking and whining and dining versus game. Tricking and whining and dining versus game. That was what my very last video was about. And this has been an ongoing discussion and debate off and on since I got on YouTube. I remember as far back as summer of 2017, a few months after I got on YouTube, some people were making arguments about tricking and whining and dining versus game. Now, as you know from reading my book, No Free Attention, I'm not the biggest fan of the word game in general. In general, I'm actually not the biggest fan of the word game. Because in most instances, not all, but in most instances, game is associated with employing some type of psychological and or emotional manipulation tactics with women. Psychological and or emotional manipulation tactics with women. And I'm not a proponent of that. I believe in doing just the opposite. I don't believe in psychologically and or emotionally manipulating women to get them in bed. So in that regard, I'm not the biggest fan of game. But I know by some people it's used more broadly than that. So let's concentrate on 2 aspects of game, which I've emphasized in some of my most recent videos. You can say there's at bare minimum at least 2 objectives of game. At bare minimum, there's at least 2 objectives of game. Game that's designed to help you engage in 1 or more episodes of sex with a woman, more specifically, short-term, non-monogamous, casual sex with a woman. You say that's one objective of game, is to help a man engage in 1 or more episodes of sex with a woman, more specifically, short-term, non-monogamous, casual sex with a woman. And I would also say more specifically, women who are preferably 7s and above, on most men's 1 to 10 scale. Women who are 7s and above, at bare minimum, 6 and above. Let's say, for the purpose of this video, 6 and above. So that's one objective of game. Is anything that's going to help you get a woman that in terms of her physical beauty and her sex appeal can be ranked no lower than a 6 on most men's 1 to 10 scale. Then the second objective of game, as representative of my book, The Possibility of Sex, second objective of game is to prevent men from being exploited, used, and manipulated by women for their non-sexual time, attention, and companionship, and for their financial resources and materialistic possessions without getting any sex out of the deal. Matter of fact, I've often said it's reverse. For me, that's the number one objective of game. Most guys would say that's the number two objective of game. For me, that's the number one objective of game. That's the number one objective of game. For me, the number one objective of game is to help prevent you from being friend-zoned by women and to prevent you from investing time and or money into pursuing a woman's companionship without getting any sex out of the deal. Again, that's the main reason why I wrote my book, The Possibility of Sex, and more recently, No Free Attention. That's the whole reason I wrote those two books, Possibility of Sex, and more recently, No Free Attention. And on the flip side, you can say the number one book, the two books I have that are more so geared towards the first objective, or for me, the second objective, whichever way you want to look at it, to help men, score at least one episode of short-term, non-monogamous, casual sex with a woman that's a 6 and above, would be my book, Who Said Again? That's my number one. You could simplify that as saying that's my mouthpiece book, my mouthpiece game book. I would rank it as the best mouthpiece game book of any book out there. But of course, I'm ridiculously biased. But I would say Who Said Again is the best book related to, when it comes to using verbal seduction skills and erotic dirty talk as game. Well, really three things. When it comes to using straightforward honesty, verbal seduction, and persuasive charm, and kinky erotic dirty talk, combination of those three things as a form of game to help you score at least one episode, if not more, of short-term non-monogamous casual sex with a woman, I would make the very biased argument that it ain't no book out there better than Who Said Again. Now, again, I'm ridiculously biased because I wrote the book. I've had clients of mine just in the last month or two. I have a client, I would call out his name if he don't mind, JFC. You see him in my comment section, JFC. He's one of my Patreon subscribers. He told me just a month ago, he said, Alan, I'm going to be real with you. He said, man, you should be charging no less than $100 for your book, Who Said Again? And he said, I'm not even saying that to just flatter you or to be, facetious. He said, I'm being real. He said, Who Said Again? It's so much power-packed knowledge, wisdom, and insight and advice in that book. He said that book should be no less, minimum, as $100. And I said, I had another client. I can't remember this second guy's name. There's another guy came in my comment section and basically said the same thing. He said, Alan, man, Who Said Again is probably your most highly underrated book. He said you should be charging way more for that book than you do. He said, with all due respect to your other books like Mode 1, Possibly Sex, Beta Male Revolution, he said, man, your book, Who Said Again, man, is that book, man. He said you should be charging a grip for Who Said Again. But yeah, that's my book that centers on helping men quickly identify and ultimately verbally seduce women who I refer to as wholesome pretenders and erotic hypocrites. Wholesome pretenders and erotic hypocrite. That's what that book is for. So Who Said Again is the book, again, that's designed to help men quickly identify and ultimately verbally seduce women who are wholesome pretenders and erotic hypocrites. Then on the flip side, my book, The Possibility of Sex and No Free Attention, are my books that are designed to help men prevent themselves from getting friend-zoned and just generally prevent themselves from being exploited and manipulated by women who have no genuine intentions of ever having sex with them. They just want to use those men for their non-sexual time, attention, and companionship, and use those men for their financial resources and material possessions. So, we got that, right? We got that? Okay. Now, as I started off the video talking about, I said one of my pet peeves is men and women too, but men who exhibit behavior that's inconsistent, contradictory, or just generally hypocritical. Okay? All right. Here's what I have a problem with. And I was also mentioning that I did a video called The Top 5 Dumbest and Most Highly Invalid Criticisms I've gotten in an attempt to undermine my Mo 1 approach. I'm going to highlight at minimum at least 2 and maybe even as many as 3. And see the hypocrisy as it relates to game versus tricking. Game versus tricking and whining and dining. Okay, as most people know, dumb argument number 3 I've received from men is Mo 1 only works on women who are extremely kinky and or highly promiscuous, i.e. slut types. Mo 1 does not help you get women in bed who are very classy, prudish, monogamy-oriented, and or relationship and marriage-oriented. Now, as most people know, I vehemently disagree with that criticism. But for argument's sake, let's say that's a fairly valid criticism against my Mo 1 approach. Let's say that's a fairly valid argument against my Mo 1 approach. Oh, I can't wait to go in on you motherfuckers on this one. How is tricking and whining and dining any better? How is tricking and whining and dining any better? When you tricking, the only woman that's going to reciprocate your sexual desires, interests, and intentions as a result of tricking are women who are whores. Did you miss that? Are women who are fucking whores. So how are you doing any better than me then? Y'all, some of y'all are saying, well, Mo 1 might work, but it's only going to work with women who are highly promiscuous sluts. Tricking only works with women who are fucking materialistic whores. Drops mic. I really want to drop 2 or 3 mics on that one. You stupid idiots. Y'all making all these arguments in defense of tricking, but yet you gonna say about Mo 1, oh, Mo 1, yeah, it might be effective, but it's only effective with like women who are like just highly promiscuous, kinky slut types. Like tricking, you gonna pull some classy women. Like tricking, you gonna pull some women who are monogamy oriented. Like tricking, you gonna pull some women who are non-materialistic. Triple dog face on that one. The goofiness of some of these arguments I receive. Again, some of the same guys who have told me Mo 1 only results in you having casual sex with women who are highly promiscuous sluts. Some of these same men in the last week, if not longer, have been defending both tricking and whining and dining. As if those pull quality women. As if those pull quality women. I will bet you $10,000 I will pull more quality women with Mo 1 than I would with tricking. I'll put $10,000 on that bet. I'll put $10,000 on that bet. If you're a woman who accepts money in exchange for your sexual companionship, you are a whore. That's by Merriam's dictionary. Every dictionary on planet Earth will tell you that. That ain't just my own opinion. That's the opinion of every dictionary on planet Earth. If you accept money, material, gifts and possessions, or employment directly in exchange for your sexual companionship, you're a whore. You're a fucking whore, which means you're the lowest of low quality. You're a whore. which is why whores hate sluts. I don't know if you knew that. Most whores hate sluts because they feel like sluts are giving up their pussy for free when they should be charging for it. But see, the difference between sluts typically only will engage in casual sex with men who they find physically attractive and sexually appealing. A whore, she'll sleep with a guy who looks like Quasimodo, as long as he offered her $500. But anyway, you guys coming at me about sluts, but yet you defending tricking? Do I hear that right? I've seen some of the guys in these various comment sections, not specifically my comment sections, but comment sections all over YouTube. Again, some of the same guys who criticized me and said Mo 1 only results in you pulling women who are nothing but kinky, highly promiscuous slut types are defending tricking when they know damn well tricking only pulls whores. Like, really? Hashtag dumbass hypocrisy. Hashtag dumbass hypocrisy. I'll take Mo 1 any day over tricking, with the exception of women who don't speak American English and don't understand American English. That's my only exception for tricking. If you're dealing with a woman that doesn't speak American English and more so doesn't understand American English, that's when I give guys a pass for tricking. But other than that, man, dude, I'll take Mo 1 over tricking and whining and dining any day of the week and twice on Saturday and Sunday. Then, the next dumb argument that was presented to me that is hypocritical when you compare it to tricking is because of the current Me Too movement, using ARC's Mo 1 approach with women will cause you to end up in jail, or at minimum will cause you to get fired from your job. Okay. Yeah, that's the second most criticism I've gotten from various men, including rival dating coaches and PUAs about Mo 1. Is that, oh man, you might get Me Too'd. Oh man, you might land in jail. Oh man, you might get fired from your job. Insert dog face here. You stupid motherfuckers, man. You stupid, goofy, stupid ass motherfuckers. Goofy, stupid idiots. And I'm calling y'all every name in the book because you're stupid. You stupid. Y'all criticizing Mo 1 saying it has the potential to have maximum land you in jail. Like tricking don't. Tricking is illegal. That's solicitation for prostitution. As the college basketball analyst Greg Anthony, who got publicly embarrassed when he got arrested for soliciting a prostitute. That's all tricking is. Tricking is just informal slang for solicitation for prostitution. What does that mean in simple terms? I explained this on my last video, so I'm going to be being repetitive. But here's the difference between tricking and whining and dining. Tricking is representative of soliciting a prostitute. In other words, you cannot approach a woman, initiate a conversation with a woman, and then offer her money, cash money, material gifts or possessions, or employment in direct exchange for her sexual companionship. If you do, and you live in a city where solicitation for prostitution is illegal, at minimum, you're going to be fined. At maximum, you're going to be both fined and thrown in jail. At minimum, you're going to be fined. At maximum, you're going to be fined and thrown in jail. Tricking is illegal. If you're promoting tricking, which is an illegal activity in most cities, you might as well get on a YouTube podcast and promote buying cocaine and selling cocaine. Buying heroin and selling heroin. You might as well. You might as well. You might as well promote men that are 25 years of age or older having sex with girls who are 15 years of age or younger. You might as well, because the shit's fucking illegal. So what's the difference? You might as well. Why be half a gangster when you could be a full gangster? You know how I feel about half a gangsters? Trick is illegal in most cities and countries. It's illegal. I triple dare you to argue with me on that. I triple dare you to argue with me on that. You cannot solicit a prostitute. It don't even have to be a professional sex worker, like a street prostitute, professional call girl, or upscale erotic escort. Any woman. If you go up to any woman in society and say, I will pay you $150 if you let me fuck you for the next 2 hours, that is considered soliciting for prostitution. Your ass gonna be fined. Your ass gonna be potentially jailed. Drops mic. So why you worried about the legalities of Mo 1 when Mo 1 ain't illegal, but you ain't worried about the legalities of tricking? You dumbass idiots. You stupid. Man, I want to create my own insults to throw at you because y'all so goofy and stupid. Y'all got the nerve to try to attack my Mo 1 approach, but y'all defending both tricking and whining and dining. Now, whining and dining ain't illegal. But it always, as I mentioned in the last video, and I mentioned in my book, The Possibility of Sex, it always sets you up to be played. Always. Once you initiate any activity that centers around whining and dining, you're setting yourself up to be played. You're setting yourself up to be played. Let's keep shit real, man. I know there's been a lot of talk about being a high-value man and all that stuff, and about men accumulating more wealth and more fame and more social status and more expensive material possessions. Hey, that's all nice. If you want to upgrade your quality of life, more power to you. But let's keep shit real here, man. There's multiple guys, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of guys who got all that shit. Money in the bank, fame / popularity / notoriety, social status, expensive material possessions that get played by women on the regular. That get played by women on the regular. And y'all gonna act like that shit don't happen? Like money solves all the problems? If money and material possessions solve all the problems for men, why the fuck you create the manosphere? Why you bitching about women then? Huh? Why are y'all on these podcasts and live streams just bitching like little girls? Why? Break it down to me like a fifth grader, man. If money and status and all that shit is the be-all, end-all of everything, then why the fuck y'all always on here on YouTube whining and bitching about the women that fucking played your ass? Drops mic. I got women in bed with my face, my physique, and my mouthpiece. Motherfucker, y'all talking this shit? Y'all get Rambo sign out of here. My alter ego Rambo, man. Don't come at me with these goofy ass criticisms, man, when I can shred them all to pieces. Y'all worried about the legalities of Mo 1, and y'all motherfuckers engaging in an activity that everybody knows is fucking illegal in most cities. Like it ain't. There was a guy on Bernard Riley's show named Theo who openly admitted it. This dude makes like $500,000 a year and admitted that he had women playing him left and right. Man, I can't tell you how many guys I've known who were high-value men. Again, they had wealth, they had fame, status, notoriety, social status, expensive material possessions, and women played them like a piano, man. What the hell are y'all talking about? You need game to help you get laid? Yes. But even more importantly, you need game to prevent your ass from being played. I wrote the book, The best motherfucking books out there.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1.
Daddy, can I go, please? You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie. The king.
The king.
The king.
I have to agree with you on the communication piece, because I actually did take a session with Alan Roger Currie, and he gave me a line that I did not think was going to work, and it worked. And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my God!
Curry guys, man, he's the master. He's the master of the verbal seduction. He got that communication piece down pat.
It really worked. It just simply worked, and I just didn't think it was going to work at all.
Some guys have natural handles. Some guys have a better natural shot, but you can always improve your shot. And sex is damn sure something you can fucking learn. Look, dude, you want to learn how to talk better? I'm hiring Alan Roger Currie to get my dirty talk game on, because it's always been something I want to get better at.
Verbal seduction, man. I'm like, clearly, this guy's the Michael Jordan of seduction. Like, come on now.